I'm also the captain and the point guard, so it kind of affects me by like if we lose a game, I'm gonna feel like it's my fault because as a point guard, you tend to feel like everything's your fault. Like you control the game, you control your team. So like as a young adult, like as an 18-year-old, feeling like having all those responsibilities, it definitely weighs on your mental a lot. Like it really does, and you just feel like you're failing, but you're really learning and you're gaining a whole bunch of leadership experience, and you're learning how to manage things.
As I used to be a young athlete, used to talk a lot about, how you're balancing academics and also being an athlete, but she is true to the game. She's doing her thing. And I'm so proud of her. And I just wanted her to come on and just give you guys some game as well. So what's going on? What's going on, Brianna? How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I am great. I am great. So
That's
we're
good.
just gonna jump right in it. I'm excited for the people to hear from you. Just introduce yourself, tell them what school you repping, what grade, and all that good stuff. Just a little bit about you before we jump into the questions.
All right. So my name Breonna Atkins. I'm from Carver. I'm a senior and I'm a student athlete, and I also do Birmingham. I'm a Birmingham Promise intern as well. I work at AL.com, more of like the journalist side. So pretty much, I play basketball. I'm the captain. Also the point guard, so that's also a pretty tough position. But just balancing all that at the same time.
Come on, y'all. She very modest about it, but she has been through a couple of years with all she do. And shout out to all our lock sisters, our lock kings and queens. Y'all know we got to give a shout out to her. Y'all, you see the rep in
Yeah,
it.
you see
But
it.
I love it what you said, all the different hats that you wear. And wearing all those different hats, again, we want to dive into how has it been? You are now a senior, but how has it been? We're going to just go into mentally being able to play sports and also your academics. How have you actually challenged that?
Mentally it's been kind of tough. Like being a senior, it's supposed to be the year where you got all your classes set. And me personally, I do have a pretty light schedule as a senior, but it's only because I took a lot of classes over the summer, so my schedule's pretty light. But I also have like I'm a dual enrollment student as well, so I'm taking a lot of college classes, getting prepared for college. And now being in a season, it makes it a lot more difficult for like those late nights where you have to do your work and you come in fresh out of a game. You don't want to do it, but you know that you have to. And I feel like that's a lot. Then you got practice in the morning, so you need to get that rest. But you also have to see which one is more important and know how to balance it all.
Oh man, I love it. Like you got a whole 2, 3, 9, and 5s.
Yeah,
Several of them. And
yeah.
going into that, I guess, why are you doing all this? Like, what is your motive of saying, I'm gonna be a student athlete and I'm gonna do all this? Because a lot of athletes are like, I'm not gonna do extra stuff because it's just too much. Like, what has motivated you and motivated you to say, I'm gonna accomplish all these things?
What's motivated me personally is the environment that I grew up in. Like I've seen like my best friend, he's recently went to jail off of a charge. And just seeing that environment around me, seeing how bad it can be if you don't push yourself and do everything that you need to do, that has what's driven me. Because I can't be another person or another statistic even. So I will go to practice and do all the work that I need to do, mostly because I know I have to do it for my family. I do it for my mother because she believes in me just like I believe in myself. And academics has always been pretty easy for me because like it's just easy. It's academics. I feel like the hard part comes with sports because it's a lot more mental, a lot more physical. But I feel like in the long run, it'll help me in life.
I love it. I love it. And going back to that before we transition, I heard something that you really spoke about that is ongoing within our community, especially in the Black and Brown community, about your friend saying that, however, because of environmental probably situations, he went into a different direction. And I guess, do you see that a lot upon your age group and youth and young adults that they decide to go a different direction and it becomes negative?
Yes, definitely. I feel like we don't have. I mean, there's support there, but I feel like every student and young athlete, like every young person, is different. They have different situations. Like me and my friend, we went to the same school, same middle school, like we grew up together, but we just had different lives. Like I was more into books, and he just went to a different path, and it was just so easy for him to stay in that path, and no one ever really pushed him to actually get on the right one and stay in school more. So just like that, his life has been ruined, and I
Oh,
saw that in a way, and it affected me because I know how easy it is. So that's why I always have to do the hard things.
okay. I love it, man. Thank you for sharing that. And we're gonna keep on, y'all. She just sounds so amazing and modest at what she does. It's just scrolling me on from the other things that we are gonna get to talk about. So since we're already here, how vital is it to have support system as you go through high school, but also just being an athlete too? How vital is that for people to say? Because again, you got some people that are playing sports and in school and they don't have support system. Like how vital and how has that helped you?
It's been very vital. Like being a student athlete and then playing for Carver, it takes a lot. Like it really does. And having support, like having people actually believe in you and say, "Hey, I see all the work you're putting in." Like it makes it worthwhile. Like you know that you're doing it for yourself and for your future. But at the end of the day, like on those late nights where you're just tired, your body's hurting, you don't feel like doing the work, just having someone actually see all the work that you put in and having that person say that they're proud of you and giving the recognition that you need, it sets you off. Like it really does. Like it really helps you, and it gives you all that recognition that you've been looking for. Me personally, it definitely helps me because I do a lot, and sometimes I do feel like it goes unnoticed, and that can kind of discourage me a little bit. But seeing having those people that actually do believe in me and see all the work I'm doing, it definitely helps me.
I like it, like you said, of being able to have that support system. So if someone's saying, okay, you saying that you have the people, you have the connection, what would you tell them on how they should like or how they can reach out to speak to other people? What would be some of the things that they can do?
So to reach out, I just feel like always be honest with yourself, know what you plan to do and how, like your goals, have some goals set, and then if you ever need help, you just reach out. I mean, the community, even though it is kind of a rough community, there are a lot of adults that are welcoming and helping, willing to help you. Especially at Carver, I've seen so many teachers that's personally helped me just because they want to help my future. They don't get no benefit at all. They just simply want to see me succeed. And there are a lot of adults like that in this community. So it takes nothing to ask. I mean, there's like a 9 times out of 10 you're gonna get accepted. It's not no rejection in this community. If it is, at least you did the right thing by asking. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay, so I guess that's and wrapping up that you're saying that it's okay just to go to that adult and ask that adult or that person and say, "Hey, I need help," or
Yeah.
"Can you mentor me or talk to me?" And not being afraid. One of the big words you said is self awareness, being aware that hey, I need some support system.
Yeah.
And having that support system means I need to reach out and I need to ask people. So I
Yeah.
love that again, to my people watching, y'all here talking of saying, reach out. If you need it, go talk to someone, go vent to someone, and it's definitely gonna help you. Now going into there, y'all see me looking back and forth with questions. That's because shout out to Remarkable. I use Remarkable to have my questions and all things. So Remarkable, get at your girl. We here. We in the classroom. Talkers versus doers. Y'all make sure we're looking for it. So I have questions, but also stuff laid out. So as you say, you need that because sometimes the stress and challenges and things that may go on. Would you say playing sports is also something that deals with your mental health. Like, have you
Definitely.
experienced those issues, especially as a female athlete? I really want to dive in deep there because, as you know, I had the pleasure of serving and really working towards doing better things for our female athletes as it relates to mental health. So, kind of tell the people about some things you've experienced and what you've gone through.
So first off, like playing basketball, like on your mental is very tough, and I feel like adding on as a point guard and being a female athlete is like a whole different challenge. It's like just building blocks added upon you. So being a female athlete, we don't get a lot of as much support as the boys. Like you have to be really good to be able to get that support from your school, and you have to be winning. And when we're losing, no one really wants to see us because I mean, who wants to watch a bunch of girls lose. But I feel like there is kind of the double standard between boys, but you just have to work twice as hard. And when there is that praise and acceptance, you have to take it, but not also let it go to your head. And the mental aspect, upon me personally, I feel like it's a lot more difficult because I'm also the captain and the point guard. So it kind of affects me by, like, if we lose a game, I'm gonna feel like it's my fault because as a point guard, you tend to feel like everything's your fault. Like, you control the game, you control your team. So, like, as a young adult, like as an 18-year-old, feeling like having all those responsibilities, it definitely weighs on your mental a lot. Like, it really does. And you just feel like you're failing, but you're really learning and you're gaining a whole bunch of leadership experience and you're learning how to manage things. Like, I love my team. Even though they're young and they're unexperienced, they generally work hard. And even though, it's hard sometimes and it weighs on my mental, it helps me, and I love them and I love the experience that I'm having.
I love how you changed everything into the learning lessons. And that is huge and very good that you're able to see that it's lessons in those things and lessons in those pains as well. And again, I'm always to my athletes that are watching, as you heard her say, you're not alone, that we've all been through that where we feel like everything is on our back. Like we
Yeah.
are carrying everything because we are that leader, we are that person. And even though she's able to say in some form of fashion, she's able to work through it, it's a lot. It's hard.
Yeah.
So, with it being hard and it being a lot, like what are some things that you had to do to challenge and work through your mental health of not feeling like, okay, I'm done. I crashed out because it's so much. Like, what are some strategies that you can give the audience about what you've done?
Personally, I feel like it also ties in with the support system. Like, having that support system really helps you. Like, as an athlete and feeling like the world is on your shoulders, you need someone to be on your side and be like, hey, it's not. At the end of the day, it's just basketball. And in the day, as long as you're working, you're making yourself better nonetheless. So, personally, a support system and having a set of coaches and teammates, peers that really believes in you and believes in what you're doing and look up to you. Like, my teammates, they look up to me, and although it can be stressful and it's hard having a whole set of eyes on you, you have to take away from that and then realize what they're looking at you for and see that they
Mhm.
actually believe in you and they are pushing you to do your best. So you sometimes you just have to change your mindset of how you look at things. Like, yeah, it is a lot of pressure, but at the same time you have to be grateful for the attention and be grateful that you're in a position to help young people and help
Yeah.
yourself.
I love it, like you said, that mindset and going right in that transition of mindset, having the right mindset because you've definitely had the right mindset and the things that you're doing. So with that right mindset, like you said, you're working now with Birmingham Promise.
Yes, ma'am.
So how did that transition? How did that happen? Being that a lot of athletes are just mind focused on sports and that's it. I'm going to the league, I'm going to college. But something changed and you was like, "Yeah, that's cool, but I need to focus and look in on this." Like, what transition and what happened for you to say, "I need to focus on a career as well outside of sports?"
Me personally, I wouldn't say I'm big on academics, but I've also been a pretty set academically. Like, I've never struggled academically at all. I just feel like I struggle more with sports because that actually, like, challenges my mental. So, looking for the internship, it's always something that was interesting. I've always liked books. I've always liked journalism, media. So it was just a quick opportunity. And then my coach, although he's a basketball coach, he's pretty big on academics. He always believed in student before the athlete. So he would always check our grades, make sure we're averaging A's and B's, and he'll always make sure we're staying on top of our work before basketball. Like, he talks to me more about academics than pretty much anything sport related because he knows that I'm an academic student and I'm a
Shout out,
student.
coach.
Period.
Come on, coach. I see you. Yeah.
Yeah, like
I'm sorry,
he's
Brianna.
pretty.
I had to shout out coach. I had to shout out a coach about that because I know he could be the big bad wolf, but I had to stop and shout you out for that, coach. Keep
Yeah,
on,
like
man.
I mean, he gets a bad rep, but at the end of the day, he actually believes in us, and he actually tries to help us. Like, in the day, all the fussing is just because he loves us, and he's helped me a lot academically and sports wise. Like, he's helped me.
Got it. I love it. The main thing I've heard you say was academics have always been basically number one to you. So would you say that that needs to
Yes,
continue with all athletes of that just being a number one? And why do you say that? If you could say why you feel that academics should be number one over sports.
I feel like academics should be number one because academics are what pushes you through college. Like, academics, although sports is your thing and you love sports, you have to find like a subject, something you love about work and school, because you will need that to feel you. Like, me personally, I love English, I love reading. That is my strongest subject. You just have to find one thing you love about school because it will really drive you. Like, you need it for when you get recruited for college, and you just need it as you go through life. Like, you need to have that instinct for studying and even wanting to do work when you don't feel like it. Like, you have to have that drive inside yourself so you can always be on top of your academics, always be top on work, period. I feel like studying and having a good instinct for doing academics, it ties into becoming to be an adult in real life. Because whatever job you decide to do, like, if you want to go to the league, like, you also have to be able to watch film. That also ties to academics because you have to study film. So I feel like our coach plays a good part on that too, because we take a lot of notes on game film, and he ties into academics because you have to be able to study in the classroom. So you have to balance it all, and in the end, it ties together no matter what.
I'm glad you got to that because that's what I was gonna ask upon really the next question of how your experience as an athlete has helped you transition into the young, amazing adult that you are now. Like, what are the skills and things you pull from being a basketball player to be able to say, this is going to be able to help me throughout life?
Definitely. I feel like being a captain is definitely helped my leadership skills. Like, I've seen, for me, academics has always been a cakewalk. So transferring to like being a freshman, playing basketball, being a captain, doing things that I've never done before, it became difficult. And my coach always told me this. He always say that for me, like, just like I said, English is my strongest subject, math is my hardest. So he was like, for me, basketball is math. And I'm so used to things being easy to me. When I got to basketball, I struggled, and it was like a pretty big challenge for me because I'm not used to struggling at things like that. So I feel like that helps me because it always teaching me how to go those challenges and to work through, whatever life throws at me, because there are going to be things that challenges me, and not everything's obviously going to be easy. So basketball
Mhm.
has really helped me go over the challenge and also be able to pick myself up and know how to work through certain things.
The basketball challenge, as I tell
Yeah.
people all the time. And I'm over here laughing, you guys, because I'm hearing her talk, which you don't hear most people say that academics was just so easy, but sports are
Yeah,
huge.
I mean,
You know,
academics is easy.
like she was like that's easy money coming in and studying, but it's the sports part that was
Yeah.
challenging you, but you still stuck it out and you're still sticking it out. And I amend you on that because again, as we talked about, being a female athlete is very can be very overwhelming. It can be very hard, as you mentioned. If the scoreboard don't say win, it's even more hard as a female athlete to get up
Yeah.
and you still coming back in that gym and you're trying to force your way through something. While on your end, you like, I'm smart. I'm good on that end. Still having to come in because this is something that I want to do and I'm challenging myself to be able to do these things. And I guess digging a little deeper of understanding and you can kind of agree with me or disagree with me on this. It's important too to have your academics because every female athlete is not going to go to college. Like
Yes.
a lot of people is going to stop at that high school. What is your thoughts on that?
Definitely. I feel like I mean, sometimes college isn't for everybody. Like,
Mhm.
everyone understands that, and sometimes it is better for like for a certain individual, like if they feel like going to college this person they're just going to waste their time, then obviously you should, do what's best for you. But you still should have the academic role and that driving you, because I mean it's still going to help you in your life, like wherever you choose to do. Even graduating high school, that's a pretty big accomplishment, and you could do so much with that.
Right. Definitely. Definitely. Yeah, get those academics, get those academics and
Yeah.
make it easy. Like brother, like make it easy. Just do the work. So with that being said, as we starting to come near, still want to dive deep because we're big on actually keys of success for female athletes. So what you say though, in these high schools in general within our city, do they have enough help or audience that focus on female athletes also in details that relate to mental health? Do you feel that it's enough out there, or do we need more within the city?
I definitely feel like we need more, because I mean, although there's some decent help, it's still not enough, and I know that it's pretty challenging being an athlete nonetheless. Then being a female athlete is like another building block. So all the help that there is, we need all the help that we can get, and it's pretty challenging. So with all the support that we need, it adds on to the support system. So that's pretty helpful. So
Mhm.
yeah.
And knowing that that's needed, more out there is needed, more help, more mental health, giving the people. I know you say your support system, but what's one of the self-care activities that you do or stress relief activity that you do to help you out through those challenging times?
Really pretty much hang out with my family. Like one thing, like even after a real bad game, they don't they don't see, I mean, yeah, they see the mistakes and like they joke about it, but they talk about it in a way as if it isn't the end of the world. Like they just joke about it. And like for me as an athlete playing my worst game ever, I'm thinking, it's the end of the world, like I just messed up, the whole game. And
Hmm.
just talking to them, just seeing how normal they view the game and view life, like it makes you think like it's not even that serious. It's a basketball game, and there's always the next game, the next play. It's not the end of the season. So just having a whole bunch of me being surrounded with a lot of people with different mindsets about things, because not everyone is an athlete, not everyone's you know, thinking so deeply about the game as you are, just because you played. So I just feel like that helps me personally. And then just being around the people that I love.
Got it. Her self-care is love and her family. The right people, the right people and environment will really push you to limits and things you can accomplish nobody else can. So you definitely, I love that of being around the right people. And the next thing is just telling people about, as we again, I promise you guys, guarantee in the is Birmingham Promise. You're doing that. What exactly do you do with Birmingham Promise? And just telling the people how that has influenced you too as a student athlete.
So my experience with Birmingham Promise has been great. First I started with the interview, and it was very like job like you have to interview, and I just said my interests, things that I liked, and then they matched me with an employer, which was AL.com, a news media, because I was talked about like in journalism and English, and from there so forth, I got a lot of job experience. I've met a whole bunch of different people, made connections that I would have never made if I would never got the internship, and it's also connections that's gonna help me throughout college. Like I've talked to many different people from many different colleges, and have set me up with people that are actually like professors and all that. So
Mhm.
Birmingham Promise has definitely helped me a lot, and I definitely recommend it to pretty much any young athlete, student. Like you can find a time to do the internship, and Birmingham Promise is really understanding and accommodating to pretty much any student.
So what precisely do you do with them as
So
your intern?
as an intern, I write news articles. I write pretty much about anything, because I'm an intern. I'm not really set on like writing about crime or anything, so I pretty much write all around the place. But I write news articles and do research. But I really like the news article aspect. I like writing something and just putting it out there and like actually having my name written on it. That makes me actually feel like an important person. So I really like that.
And shout out to her. She got some dope articles. I'm gonna make sure I attach that to you guys on this video. You'll have it at the bottom. Yeah, she got some dope articles. I'm
Thank
so proud of you of what you're doing and what you're accomplishing. Like I said, I've seen her grow from that fragile scale of a ninth grader to this 12th grader that just have so much energy, so much confidence, and the belief in yourself and the transition. It's just amazing. And you are a true definition of a leader. You are a true definition of somebody that understands that I can do anything that I desire to do. And I want you to continue to spread that to so many other individuals. So, like you said, as your teammates that are looking at you, I want you to continue to spread that. And with spreading that, what is one like last word that you want to leave that individual that is watching this and they may be struggling of balancing schoolwork and academics or just understanding who they are as a person? Like, what is one thing that you want to lead that person with?
I feel like the best thing is self empowerment. Like love yourself, know your limits, know what you can do, know what you can't do, and don't overstress yourself. As a student athlete or just a student in general, like it's your life. You can do what you want to do. And I feel like we kind of get mixed up, and we feel like we have all these people talking to us, telling us things we need to do. You have to realize and set yourself to be able to do what you can do, and do most importantly what you want to do, because it's your life at the end of the day. So most importantly, do what you enjoy and love yourself. Like at the end of the day, it's all about loving yourself and knowing at the end of like knowing when it's just yourself at night, you're happy with how your day went and how everything in your life is going. So mostly self empowerment.
Self empowerment. Y'all better self empower y'all. Y'all better love on y'all.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Rihanna, for
Thank you.
coming in, giving that words of self empowerment to so many people. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode and continue to watch, continue to subscribe as well, and share it to your family, your friends, especially other female athletes, that we want to make this where it is a culture and a community for you guys to hear from other people, hear from other athletes, and know again that you're not alone. There are people out there that are experiencing some of the same things, but you can get through it. We want you to get through it. We want you to succeed in that sports, but most importantly, your academics. But we are the family here because what we're not just talking about it, we're out there doing it. And she's definitely out there doing it, balancing both of them. And I know she's going to be one of the top of her class. So I'm excited for that part. So we're going to go on that. And as well, we will have at the bottom, if you guys just want to contact her, we will have that at the bottom too. I will drop that information, and especially any journalists or anybody, colleges, if y'all just want to throw a scholarship, let's go. It's gonna be on
Definitely.
at the bottom too. We'll have that too as well. But y'all know what it is. It's your girl, your auntie, your friend, your cousin, Coach Perry. And I want to say, don't just talk about change. Be a doer of change. Why? Because you deserve it. Catch y'all on that next one.